Okay, we got a 5-3 Blitz game. A little warm-up game here. Playing Queen's Gambit. Plays the Slav defense. I prevent e5, the 1 hour counter gambit. I think I'll play the slow Slav, just defend the pawn. Oh, he brings the bishop out there. Okay, let's counterattack the center with his bishop out here. It's not defending over here. Yeah, things are pretty solid here. I can bring the queen out, ask him how he wants to defend here, but it's not much of an attack with this pawn so securely defended. Let's just take then. Well, let's give the check since he took that way. I think it's normal to take the other way. Then get castled here. His knight is pinned, and it can't be unpinned easily. Well, he can castle. That will unpin it. And I suppose I could take then. Yeah, let's prevent any weird sacrifice on h7. Yeah, I decided to go there. So now I should go after his bishop, I guess. It's outside the pawn chain. Klim here played that really fast. He's still got 5 minutes on the clock. Once they've castled, you don't have to worry about the H-file opening up here, and you just grab the bishop here. Then what now? Push in the center. Let's prepare that push in the center. This knight is free to move now, of course, but as long as I keep this pawn defended, I should be okay. The push threatens to threatens to go here. Let's unpin my knight. Then we'll push in the center. Oh yeah, I wasn't calculating that right at all. I have to throw in this. It wasn't part of the plan. But I did open up a line for my bishop, so I should be okay here. And he has an isolated pawn, and I have an isolated pawn. I have a little more center control. Should still be okay. Just I gave up the bishop here without really intending to. Okay, so he's hitting my knight. Could go here. And that way I can drop back to f3 if necessary. And it is defended by the bishop there. The bishop can also come out and help defend here. So next maybe queen c2 and rook c1, gang up on this pawn. So he hops in with the knight. Yeah, I don't want to trade knights. Let's just drop back here as long as there's no harm. I see, he's ganging up. So bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes. Yeah, there's still no problem there. So, queen c2. Starting to look at this pawn. Also unpinning here. If he pushes the pawn forward, I'll just take. Let's bring the rook over as well. It's probably going after my bishop, but I don't mind. He defends. Let's push this pawn forward. I mean, if his knight comes over here and takes my bishop, I'll take back with a pawn, and I'll still have this very solidly covered. Ah, that was his idea. He goes there with the knight. Well, I have to admit, he's got a one-track mind. So knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. He's won a pawn, but maybe I can take this one. Or this one. Single-minded concentration on my isolated pawn. Sometimes that's not so great. To be so focused on one objective, you get all your pieces tied up. And I say, here, you can have it. If he doesn't take it right away, I can bring my rook up here. I don't know if that's good or not. Let's see. So he didn't want the pawn after all. So if I take this pawn and he takes back and then I take the knight, he can still take here. Good, chase his queen away. So his queen goes there. I could chase the queen again. Get the queen off of that diagonal, and then maybe double the rooks. Okay, so rook takes, queen takes. It's not good. How about bringing the knight in here? Ganging up on this pawn. If he takes, I don't know if I want to take with the pawn or the bishop. Hard to say. Let's take with the pawn. So, okay, moved his knight away from the glare of my rook. Let's prepare to kick his knight away. His knight, I guess, can hop into this square. Okay, repaired his pawn structure, but now his knight can't go here. If he moves it, he could push the pawn. Okay. He can distract my bishop first. Didn't see that. So, if I attack the knight, it's going there with a check. Sad, huh? Have we got anything good here? I guess that covers the checks. So he's got to defend the knight or move it. I have to get these pawns rolling here. Yeah, I figure I'll just go for this. get a passed pawn here. Yeah, he can take my pawn, but he didn't, huh? Let's keep pushing. Yes, if the queen moves, then the check. Let's see, this check or come in here. Hard to say. If the queen moves, then the pawn push is good for me. So his queen is kind of stuck there. I can bring the bishop in with check and drive the king back. Bring the queen in with check. I think he probably should have taken my center pawn when he had the chance. Although, yeah, there maybe was a danger here. Okay, so we're going to do this check anyway. We've got time for that. I see. He made himself a little home there. Let's defend my pawn here. He's still kind of tied up with his queen and his knight. The knight can actually go to h7, can't it? Maybe not. Knight h7, pawn takes, queen takes, I queen. Could be interesting. So I could take here and then take the pawn. So maybe this. maneuver my queen into c7. If he allows it. Yeah, I got to move quickly now, unfortunately. So I may overlook things, but there is this check here, and then I get a passed pawn. I think I'm looking pretty good. Even if he takes the bishop. Take back with a pawn. That also looks very dangerous. My pawns are just closer than his. 9 seconds. Still, how does he meet this idea of queen check? He has to take the bishop. And then I have to take back. I don't have time for queen check if he takes the bishop. Say, knight takes, queen check, queen takes, pawn takes. The isn't that failing? Has he got some weird has he got some weird check here? Well, I don't have much choice at this point. But the knight has no check, right? And this pawn will queen with checkmate, right? All right. Well, that's a nice way to start off this stream. Let's see if we can get a, I'll do a rapid game here, 10 and 5. Here we go. Let's try e4. That was a d4. 1888, Mamukoya. Usually pretty good. The Yeah, the Blitz ratings aren't comparable to the rapid ratings. They're somehow a little bit weaker. The rapid ratings are a little weaker than the Blitz ratings, so that's why I have a higher rating here in this time control. Yeah, let's do the Ruy Lopez. And plays the Morphe defense, the kick with the pawn. So we got a main line. I'm going to castle, main line. You can take, that'll be the open Ruy Lopez, or you can bring the bishop here for a closed Ruy Lopez, or you can kick my bishop back and bring the bishop out for Arkhangelsk. He takes. Oh, cool. I haven't seen that in a while. So play here first. There's something a little different about this. I think they normally kick the bishop back and then take. So if I take his knight, yeah, this is not a standard open Ruy Lopez. The standard one is they kick the bishop back, so you don't have this option. So this has more of the character of a Petrov. Oh, he didn't attack my my knight here. Let's see how he's going to defend his knight. He's not going to defend it. He just drops it back. Okay, well, let's put a pawn in the center. Should be okay for me. He can kick my knight back, but actually when he plays d6, I can take on c6, so maybe it's not so simple. Let's develop my knight. Okay, he can just undermine me that way. So I take, he takes with the bishop. I could wait for him to take. Yeah, let's play a waiting move. I want to get my bishop out to f4 and then drop it back. Bishop to f4, and then if it gets attacked, have this h2 square available. So that was why I went ahead and played this quiet move, h3, and let him take. It also helps develop my queen when he takes. So I am actually attacking here. If his knight weren't there, I would be attacking there. I did give up the bishop pair in this line. Maybe this is all okay. So I'm not sure the point of kicking my queen. Seems like this is a fine square for the queen as well. Maybe just was getting the pawn out of the glare of the bishop. I guess if he kicks my knight, I have to worry about where to put it, but he didn't kick it. So, oh, and I can't take just yet. Okay, let's bring the other rook to the center. If he pushes forward again, I'll bring my knight around. He gave up on the option of chasing my knight away, which is interesting. I would have definitely considered putting the pawn on d6 just to get that knight out of that square. My other knight, if it gets kicked, can route around perhaps like this. Maybe I will do that anyway. I guess the other way it could go out this way if I want to try and gang up on this pawn. Now the reason why I might have considered kicking the knight is because if it drops back to this square, then he had the bishop takes before he put that pawn there. Bishop takes knight to mess up my pawn structure. So I would have had to find another square for my knight. But there were other squares. It could have gone here, could have gone here. So is he just going for trades here? See, I put my bishop here, threatening to take the knight and then take the pawn. My knight will be hanging. Say bishop here, and I don't know. He passes. I take the knight. The queen takes bishop, and there's two pieces attacking my knight. So if I take right away, he's still got the knight and the bishop there. Not working. Also, this bishop can move with check. I should keep that in mind. Let's drop back first and bring the knight around. Maybe the knight could come here and then go here. There's a downside on having the bishop here, which means I don't get to play any discovered attacks with my knight. Unless they are with check, like a knight attack on the queen, for example. Yeah, why was that a good idea? I could just go back, or I could bring the knight out. Let's bring the knight out. We now have a position with opposite colored bishops. Maybe bringing the knight out wasn't such a great idea. I blocked the retreat of my bishop. I should have thought about that a little more. Should have thought about that. Well, I can bring my knight back here to defend the bishop. We can push the pawn. Say if he attacks my bishop with the knight there. He didn't do it. Didn't do it. Okay, I guess he's going to put his queen on that square if I take the knight. I take the knight, queen takes, threatening mate. Yeah, that's true. How about pawn to c4, hitting the knight. He takes my knight, I take back. And his queen can't come to this square, though he gets a passed pawn there. Maybe just c3. Threaten to undermine this central pawn setup that he's got. If he takes my knight, I can take with the bishop. And if he pushes this pawn, I can take it. If he takes here, I'll probably take with the bishop. The bishop is on a good diagonal looking at his king. Need to get my queen out there. We have bishops of opposite color here, which is not drawish when you have this much force on the board. What it means is that he should be attacking on the light squares, which looks like he's trying to set up, and I should attack on the dark squares. So getting my queen out here, getting a knight here or here. Those would be the ways to set this up. Yeah, maybe knight h5 and queen to g5, and then the knight is threatening to come in here. Something like that. Could be a fairly quick attack. I guess, you know, if he takes the pawn and I take back with the bishop, he might just take the bishop with his knight. I can trade queens and rooks and take back with the pawn. It would all be very even. Okay, so he does it that way. Interesting. So that's attacking my knight and the bishop. But I can take here. Is that best? Don't have any moves with check, do I? Yeah, I can take the knight. He takes the queen. I go here with check. He takes back, and then I take his queen. Then he takes my bishop. So that kind of backfires. Yeah, I guess there's no good square to check the king from. But still, I think I need to do this. Yeah. So do I have a check here? There's two checks here and here. So I move with check. He takes. I take. He takes. Yeah, because he's attacking it with the pawn. So I need to double here. All right, I should drop back. I just need to defend and unpin the bishop. There was a danger of him pushing a pawn, for example, and attacking my bishop, taking advantage of this pin, which was operating as long as the two rooks weren't connected. And so I couldn't, for example, just defend with a pawn or something. Yeah, he can do that. Okay, so let's take here. Looks like it's turning into more of an even position, but still, as long as there's rooks on. As long as there are rooks on. Keeping my rook defended. Then there's still chances. But yeah, it looks very even. Okay, black, you want to trade rooks or not? So it'll either be one rook and one bishop versus one rook and one bishop, or two rooks and a bishop versus two rooks and a bishop. I'm not sure if that makes much difference. But yeah, if he lets me, I will take my rook, take his rook, and then I'll put my rook on the second rank, trying to get something going here. On the 7th rank, I guess. I don't know, maybe I should do something else. Like I could lift the rook up here, attacking his bishop. Well, if there's an exchange or if I save this guy. Okay, so he's just pushing, letting me decide whether I want to take or not. So I could take and lift my rook up here. The other idea was to lift the rook up here and come across this way, coordinating with the bishop on this square. Yes, I like this. So he can give a check here, but he has to worry about his own back rank at the moment. So let's just stop that pawn from coming forward, and then I'll bring my king into the game. So he gave his king some lift. Yeah, okay, his bishop is defending this pawn. Okay, let's step forward with the king. No, let's not. Let's not do that. Check here. See what he wants to do with the king. Wants to block. Interesting. See if he's got a plan here. Well, he activated his king. He's playing this well. He activated his king. His rook is on an open file. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should push this pawn. If he pushes the pawn and I take, he's got check and take bishop. So that means I can't actually take that pawn. But he has to decide if he wants to push it that far forward, because maybe I'll have a chance to take it later. See, he pushes, I go here. I could check here. It'd be a bit awkward. I'd be in check. Wouldn't be able to go here. I'd have to go here. Maybe I want to go here, though. Just got to be careful you don't walk into some mating net. That's the danger. So if I were to try and push these pawns, get a passed pawn here, or get some pawns in front of his king, like say I went here, So I go here, the rook could come down. I could say, I push this pawn, he brings the rook down, I push this pawn. He could attack this one over here. I'm threatening to take there with check. So he takes, I take. If I take this way, then he's got checks from behind. Well, I'm going to try something anyway. Might be a little bit risky here. So he's going to try something too. Yeah, he put his bishop here so I couldn't come forward, I guess, and he's going to push this pawn with check. Okay. Okay. Pushes it all the way there. Yeah, so now there's a, yeah, he's going after this pawn maybe, but he created a weakness over here. So he gets the check, but in the long run, this pawn will fall. Aha, he says he doesn't want that. Okay. So what can I do here? His rook still can't leave the defense of this pawn, I don't think. I mean, he has the check. Maybe I can push this pawn. Yeah, so he's going to try and undermine my bishop there. Push that pawn forward while my bishop is under pressure. Don't fall for that trick. Push this pawn forward to knock out this pawn, which is defending my bishop. Okay, so I went back there. So let's go here. Aha. He doesn't like my rook there. Okay, I can step aside. Okay, so if I take here, I can push with check. I guess that's what I should do. Try and save things. He's threatening to take that pawn with check, so I didn't have time to save the bishop except by giving a check back. I didn't calculate this out. So that was a last minute improvisation to push that pawn forward. I really intended to take. I was hoping to get this exchange in and open up my rook against his king. Maybe I will get that anyway. Aha. So now my bishop is not under fire, so I can attack this pawn. You know, create a weakness, fix a weakness. So that pawn push fixed this pawn. Fixed as in made it immobile, unmovable. And it's going with check. And he ran out of time. I think I'm better in this final position, although hard to say. But yeah, I like my chances here. Anyway, that's it for this session. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.